Welcome to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. I'm your host, Fabian motherfucking Ojeda, and I don't know shit, but that's okay. All right. Let's get this shit started. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. Hope you all enjoyed episode number 53, the first new one of the new podcast year. We had on the guys from Terminus Media talking about their faith-friendly comics. Check those out if you haven't. But we're back, and we're going to start this new podcast year off just like we did last time. We're bringing back one of the regulars. It's no longer episode 2 now, but it's pretty much like episode 2 of the new year, right? And so we have recurring co-host, shit show member, and future OnlyFans model, Alfred Whitey Villarino. How's that intro?
That's great. I like the OnlyFans. I've been making a lot of money off that thing. All you have to do is eat popsicles all day.
You put your butt on it, or you charge extra for those?
Put your butthole up for $5. I don't know. I've never seen OnlyFans. I just heard about it. It's funny though. It's funny to make fun of people.
Well, you learned about it on the podcast, right?
I didn't hear that one. Like I've heard.
Oh.
Like I would say I heard 90% of the podcast. I was just listening to The World of Wally in the car a couple minutes ago. It was kind of an interesting interview. I didn't know what a World of Wally.
Let me pull the curtain back on that one, right?
All right.
So I originally thought this guy was like film and media, right? That's kind of how his profile read. I'm like, all right, cool. We could talk about, what it's like to put, movies or TV together and whatnot. He said like writer, producer, all this other stuff. It turns out that was a stretch. So he kind of told me on the podcast, I don't know if I edited it out or not, but he said, yeah, well, my publicist said that it's best to put it on that way for IMDb. And you get more attention that way. But really what he meant was that he's a writer for the podcast. He's a producer for the podcast. He's a this and that. So pretty much what every podcaster does. I'm like, and so we kind of had to pivot on that one, man. But we still had a good conversation because, he's a guy kind of like me who has a lot of stories, And so
I wanted to hear some of those correction stories because, like, towards the end of that pod, or I don't know if it was the end or 3/4 through, because I'm still got a few minutes left. But he was talking about corrections or whatever. He's like, had 14 years off and on in corrections. He's like, I got some crazy stories. I'm like, where are those stories?
Man.
I'm like, he needs to be on another one, and we need to do what it's like to work in a corrections facility or whatever. Like, because that's what I want to hear about. Like, I don't know shit about that.
Because I'm sure you and I fucking tell, bouncer stories. Till nighttime right now,
Yeah.
I mean,
the worst part is the only thing I have to go on is watching episodes of Oz, and so that's probably not a very good thing.
Talking about butt stuff, right?
I don't know what was going on in that show, man. That was a good show, but there was an awful lot of wieners in that show.
Oh yeah.
Just spoiler alert or whatever. If you don't like wieners or whatever, that's not your show. Then again, that makes it seem like I like wieners. I don't know. Let's edit that part
out. Damn it, Whitey! You already incriminated yourself within 3 minutes.
That's hilarious. I am getting married, by the way. So
that's true. to a woman with no wiener.
To a woman without a wiener. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because you're.
If she hears this podcast or whatever, she's going to be like, "Oh, I must be the woman without a wiener." That's great.
Well, I mean, it's better than being the woman with. Well, let's not judge. It's 2021. I'll just keep it at that. Before
we're treading into like deep waters here. We're just gonna backtrack,
before we get canceled here, right? But I did want to touch on that a little bit because you're joining us now from your new humble abode, and you're pretty much almost in wedded bliss, right? We've been building it up on the podcast. We were supposed to have our shit show combo with some sort of bachelor party, but I mean, I don't think we're wild anymore, Whitey. I think we were supposed to do the shit show and what ended up happening, we didn't even press record, man. We just kind of, we're enjoying each other's company and shit.
I'll tell you what happened with that is it was kind of a makeshift thing that we were putting together at the last minute anyway. like where nobody actually agreed to anything until like a day or so before.
Uh-huh.
And we were still trying to get a hold of people. So it's not like we had everybody like all in tune as far as the time goes. So it's like Potter showed up pretty early and we were having a good time talking to him. And then so showed up a little bit later. And like by the time everybody was all sitting down and, you know, you guys had already eaten, they were just starting to eat. It was getting dark. It was like, we were just having too much fun sitting down, sitting some ass and telling some stories and, just, you know, we hadn't seen each other in so long or whatever. Like, it's nice to be able to sit down with somebody and actually have a conversation next to somebody. So,
yeah, that was like the first time in over a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, literally the first time the four of us were in the same fucking space. Right.
It was cool though, because I got to share my house with you guys for, you know, change. I'm usually, you know, over at your guys' places eating your food. So, well, hey, even then, I mean, I was still eating your food.
but you know what? It was for a purpose. We taught you how to grill up some tomahawks there.
Oh, they were so good.
Now I have a bone to pick with that, right? And I told you, damn, you are a lousy host.
Oh my god!
And let me tell you why you're a lousy host, right?
All right.
We get this beautiful tomahawk, you know, bloody as hell, right?
And, which you provided, by the way. Fabian bought all the steak for the party, by the way. So
yeah,
he's got every right to talk about this.
And then I have a plate, which I'm surprised you didn't just throw it on the floor and say, have at it. But I'm chomping down on this thing and probably 3/4 of the way done. And I noticed there's no knife and fork, right?
Right. Yeah.
That was, you know, hosting 101 right there. Where's my knife and fork?
So the best part about Fabian is he's very passive aggressive with things sometimes. And like, so I bring like me and Fabian had the steaks ready to go and then Potter shows up. So I get his ready and I'm like, I left mine in the oven or whatever to keep eating while Potter's steak was, you know, finishing up. And so Fabian's over there eating his steak and I get Potter's to the table and I'm sitting down with mine and I go, oh, let me get you, you know, fork and a knife. And I give Potter his fork and his knife. And Fabian looks over. He's already been about halfway through his steak, by the way, like a tomahawk. And I'm looking at him and he's like ripping the meat apart with his hands and he's like eating the meat or whatever. And I'm like, I, you know, don't think anything of it. And he goes, I noticed that Potter gets a fork and a knife, Whitey, at your house. And I go, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh shit, I never gave him a fork and a knife. And he's sitting there like, I think he was like over exaggerating the ripping stuff apart, like trying to get my attention. And I was telling Potter this because he goes, oh my God, or whatever, like, why didn't you get him a fork and a knife? I go, because when we ate those 72-ounce steaks in Texas, how did you eat that steak?
Sans knife and fork.
That's right. So Fabian ripped all of his stuff, like he ripped all of his steak apart with his hands. He piled all his salad and everything on the plate, and he was literally eating with his hands at some point. Like, I mean, this is how he finished a 72-ounce steak. I'm sitting here cutting the thing, which is why it took me so goddamn long to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cut those things, man. Like, here's a tip for anybody going to Amarillo to try that 72-ounce steak: do not cut the meat. Like, you're going to spend way too long trying to get that thing apart.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing there is at a time limit, you know?
This is true, but I've seen you eat lots of stuff with your hands over the years. So, I mean,
I guess that's true.
I think I've seen you eat mashed potatoes with your hands.
That could be. That could be. Listen, if they're gonna allow, you know, ancient things like archaic things like chopsticks, you know, we've all kind of, you know, moved on to forks and spoons and whatnot. If you're gonna allow chopsticks, then please allow something more ancient than that, which is, you know, eating with your hands. You know?
Oh man, the almighty stick. That's great.
Yeah. So I think we can just call that one off. I think you're right. There was reason. I do tend to eat like a savage sometimes.
I did feel bad though, you know, and next time you're going to be the first one to get a fork and a knife, even though I feel like you're just going to throw them away before we start eating.
I probably will. Yeah.
Like,
so
just to prove a point.
Definitely. So why do you wanted to be back on the podcast, right?
Yeah, I've been wanting to be back on for a while. I felt like I haven't had any much to talk about. There's been so many more interesting things. Been listening to a lot of your interviews lately?
Yeah, you've listened to pretty much all of them. I think you're one of the few that I think listens within like the well that I actually know, because everybody else who listens on day one or day two, they're all over the goddamn world,
Yeah.
But you're actually one of the only ones that I know that listens on Sunday or Monday when it comes out. What have been some of the more interesting ones to you? I mean, we just did the recap on the episode 52 anniversary show. What would have been some of the more interesting ones?
I thought, yeah, and I got to say this is George Hernandez, this bullying episode. Remember, like, I even made a comment on this. I was like, I always thought he was the bully in high school or whatever. Like, I never dealt with he was younger than we were. So, yeah. I mean, we really never got into it with him or anything, but he just always seemed like he was kind of a bully. Just the demeanor or whatever, like, and just how people would talk about George or, oh, there's Big George or whatever, and I'm just really, after listening to the next podcast and stuff, I really think that out of all people or whatever, I think he really turned things around or whatever for himself. And I'm just like really happy that he's giving back to the community as much as he is. And, cool. Like, the world needs people like that. And, I just, I'm glad he's where he's at right now. And he needs some sort of praise because there's not enough of that going around, It
was interesting to hear what they're doing with their It Takes a Village nonprofit. It's pretty much, and even more so than like an actual registered nonprofit, they're doing things out of their own pocket, which is even more impressive because it really is super grassroots. There's no overhead that they're spending where you have to pay people and whatnot. So it's it's pretty interesting. How about how about any other episodes caught your interest?
Well, like I was telling you, I was listening to that World of Wally. It was pretty interesting. I think my favorite one was that what's his name? Callum Skull. Yeah, okay, yeah. It was his. I really liked that conversation for some reason. Like I liked how he's talking about stuttering, but then you guys start talking about McDonald's out of nowhere. Like, I mean, that was great. He's just I couldn't stop listening to that one. Like I had to listen to that one in one sitting or whatever. Like very interesting guy.
Kind of like a Pulp Fiction conversation, where you're just kind of like mindlessly talking about any bullshit,
And those are the best ones because I usually listen to the show on the road, like primarily or whatever. Like I'm driving to Los Angeles or back from Los Angeles, and I hate traffic. I really do. Like so, it totally gets my mind off of like the anger that is traffic. Like, and I can focus on a little something else while still, paying attention to the traffic around me. But I'm not getting it. It calms me down a little bit. I'd say, like, I don't feel like I need to speed or anything.
I kind of feel like you're gonna be like the movie Falling Down.
Who are you talking to about that? I heard you talk to somebody about Falling Down. It was the director guy, Mark Morales.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great movie. Falling Down.
Yeah, it really is. I'm surprised not a lot of people, I bring that movie up once in a while and like, I feel like nobody gets that reference, but it's like a really overlooked movie.
Yeah. I mean, it could pretty much happen today in today's day and age.
Yeah.
You got a disgruntled worker who, has been let go from their job and is going through a divorce, is miserable, and traffic, finally makes him snap.
I mean, isn't that kind of what's going on right now with all these people fucking snapping all of a sudden?
Yeah. So I'm saying you could be the next Falling Down.
Wow.
Just don't be driving anywhere near Venice, though, because we know what happened on that pier.
I feel like with all the people freaking, going nuts right now, I'm surprised I haven't heard like, oh, this is happening because of the new president or whatever, and he's trying to take away your guns yet. I mean, and they're like staging all this shit, those ridiculous conspiracy theories where like they don't really hold any water.
or in other words, Potter talk.
Potter talk. That should be a new segment on the show on the next episode. Potter talk.
I, I think it's kind of uh, you know, a shame we didn't get to do the shit show because we had so much to talk about, man. Like, I know we try not to delve into deep politics, but at least make fun of it. And there's
To
so
be
much
fair,
going on.
you have like an episode in the can already. Like right now, like before my episode airs, you're already going to be like at least one episode in between, right?
Uh-huh.
So like I usually think that you have like extra material like saved up at least a week in advance or something like that, like maybe an interview. So like the fact that you had to cobble together something at the last minute, I guess, it kind of made me feel bad today because I did hear that episode where you're reviewing the podcast episodes or whatever. Like it's like a look back after a year or something like that. And you're like, oh yeah, we were supposed to have episode 50 or whatever, like with the guys on here, but yeah. I'm
Well,
like, how long did it take you to do that look back, by the way? I mean, like when did you start editing it? And like
I did it all in one shot, man. Like I just, I edited after it was like a 30-minute recording. And then when I added all the sound clips in, it was probably like, what did it end up? Like 45, 50 minutes.
yeah.
So I just did it all in one shot, you know, like I knew what I wanted in there. I thought it came out pretty cool, you know, like we were able to kind of just go back and listen to the origins, the beginning. I'm like, damn, I was like, the quality sucked, because I was still trying to figure out like how do I record, calls. I would literally put my microphone up to the damn phone, just to pick up the sound directly from the phone. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I could plug in my phone to, the little sound recorder, right? And then I could really edit from there. But then it still wasn't that great because um it was too loud or too digital, And then I'm like, fuck, Zoom does everything really clear, man. So I'm just glad to, be able to use that while we're not doing anything in person.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
but I mean,
one thing I
huh?
did learn from the podcast, by the way, is your brother Mauricio.
Yeah,
He talks super fast, man. And
yeah.
I don't know if it was because he was like, no, I know what it is. It's not that he was nervous. It was that like when he gets into a subject that he likes to talk about or whatever, like he's like 110% or whatever, like full
Mm-hmm.
speed. I don't know, like just like when you talk to him about wrestling or something like that, he's super interested in it or whatever. He's like an encyclopedia. Like he starts going off on these tangents or whatever. It's like in 1997, Ric Flair did this or whatever, and then he beat this guy, and then but
Uh-huh.
don't forget this or whatever. Like, and yeah, like when we're together, I had never noticed that or whatever. But listening to the podcast, yeah, I'm like, oh shit, like he talks super fast. You sure he's
Mm-hmm.
not on any of those steroids, Andre's on, buddy?
No, he's too cheap. He wouldn't pay for him.
He's too cheap.
Yeah.
That's
What?
Money Mo right there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why? So what else you got for the people? I know you wanted to throw some new topics out there in podcast world, right?
Well, one thing is I want to hear the rest of Roy's story about the paranormal stuff. I think you need to have a podcast on that, like some
Paranormal.
a paranormal podcast or whatever, because I'm interested in that or whatever. Like I don't really believe in any of that stuff because I've never had an experience.
Oh,
But you know,
I'm about to call you out right now
why is that?
because you yourself told me about the man with the balloons or some shit, right? Or like,
See, but here's the thing: I was a kid when that happened, and I don't know. See, and it's people telling the story. That's why it's like, oh well, like they can't be lying, like.
uh-huh.
So yeah, it's up in the air, but I've never had anything that made me say, oh yeah, this is real.
Mm-hmm. No, I've never had that either. It's the same thing here where people have always told me like, yeah, I had this happen to me. Somebody pulling my feet from under the bed, or I saw something in my sleep. You know, I just kind of rationalize everything. Like if I saw something, it's because I had like sleep paralysis, and I would get that every now and then. But it's not like anything. And here's how I know that it's not anything supernatural, right? Because I never had my own fucking room growing up, right?
Oh right,
And
yeah.
so when I would have these episodes and whatnot, and I'd wake up, I'd ask my brother, "Hey, what the hell happened right now? What do you mean you were asleep?" I'm like, You didn't hear me like fucking screaming or yelling, or you didn't see something like, attack me or whatever. No, what the fuck are you talking about? Right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
to me, it's like, okay, so, somebody that was right next to me didn't even have any sort of, inkling of anything going strange or awry. Right. It was all in my head. So that's how I know for sure that, that it's nothing crazy, but people really do believe these things, man. I'm gonna tell you a little. I don't know if I told it on the podcast yet, but I'll tell you a little story about one time that I actually believed, like, oh shit, something paranormal is happening, or I'm getting abducted by aliens, right? Uh, at the time, it was, we were living in a shitty apartment. Uh, so I slept on a mattress on the floor, like a lot of Hispanic kids do, in the living room,
Right.
right? And we like I said, it's a shitty apartment, right? So you don't know what's going on. But I remember just one night, I was asleep, and I think I wasn't sure if I had sleep paralysis going on or not, but I know I couldn't move, right? And I felt this heavy pressure on my chest, and I couldn't get it off or anything like that. And then I start seeing lights outside my window, right? And I hear voices like calling out from the light. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I thought in my head, I'm like, I thought alien abductions were fake. I'm like, this can't be happening right now. And
Fabian got an anal probe.
oh well, that would have been memorable, But they probably would have pulled out a double cheeseburger, a whole one. No, but
With an arm still attached to it.
but as I'm coming to, I realized, wait a minute, that's the fucking ghetto bird outside. That's no spaceship. The lights that I see are the fucking spotlight from the ghetto bird.
Oh,
And you know
man.
what was pushing down on my chest? A fucking one of these stray cats that we took in.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, those cats just fucking crawl over everything.
Yeah, man. So I'm like, the one time I thought maybe it was something happening, I'm like, I could explain every little thing. So yeah, I do think I'll have something on the podcast as far as paranormal experiences. I know Roy mentioned, yeah, he had one that he wanted to talk about, so I'm gonna invite him back on, maybe with his female counterpart co-host Astro Monica, because she could kind of try to rationalize it with the crazy stones and whatnot. And then we'll have the return of Red Roy trying to get some.
That's hilarious. Fucking Roy. I hope Roy's doing okay. Okay. Shout out to Roy. Roy's a good guy.
Oh yeah, fun Vegas trip with that guy.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, we definitely got to get another shit show going though for 60, man.
Yeah. So the man with the balloons. You were talking about the man with the balloons. I should probably tell that story. Maybe that you can play that for them before their podcast, and then that could start the show or something. I don't know. But yeah. So anyway, my mom said that when I was like, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 or something like that. I described to her. I guess I would sit next to the closet. We had this closet that we had our room, and it had a double door closet. So the doors actually swung open, and it was, you could fit a lot of what ended up in there was like a bunch of shoes and old clothes and stuff. And it was just always messy and stuff in there. So there's no reason to be in the closet. It wasn't like we had stuff hanging up or anything to grab, it was just like all the junk went in the closet. Mm. So anyway, I guess I'd sit next to the closet and I would talk to it or whatever, like talk to the closet. Mm. And so, and then I guess at night I would wake up screaming or whatever, like, afraid of, and I guess I was afraid of a man that was holding balloons in these dreams I was having or something like, or supposedly I was seeing this man with the balloon and I described some man. Right. Mm. And so my mom goes, I didn't really think anything of it because you were, young and kids just say a bunch of weird shit, and she goes, but one night, we had this neighbor for years and my mom, knew the neighbor real well. And she didn't seem like she was crazy or anything, but and she was a good family friend or whatever. So like when we'd leave, she'd watch the house pretty much. Like the house was right next door. She'd go and check on things, and like you knew that the house was safe because you know the lady was there. And we'd do stuff for each other too, like you know dinners and things like that. We were just family friends. So anyway, I guess she saw somebody that was up in our driveway looking at our garage, and he's just like staring at the garage. And she described this guy or whatever. It's like long hair, you know, what he was wearing. And she goes, but he looked weird or whatever, and like pale. And she goes, because she had a screen door that was facing the side of this guy. So she could see him and, you know, right in front of the door or whatever, like, but he couldn't see her. So she went out there and she goes, hey, she goes, what are you doing? And I guess the guy turns and looks at her, is what she said. He looks back at the garage and he walks right through the garage. And I don't know, that house was kind of like, I was never comfortable in that house, you know. It's just kind of weird, kind of scary to be inside that house. I don't know, just kind of weird anyway. So I don't know. Is that something that happened? I have no idea because I can't remember, you know, the guy with the balloons now. I'm 30 years later. So I couldn't tell you one way or another if any of that was true. So I don't have a paranormal experience to go off of and say, oh yeah, that's real or, you know, fake or whatever. As far as I know, you know, these shows like Ghost Hunter and all these paranormal shows or whatever, like they sell commercials and they fake evidence. There's been proof that they've faked a bunch of evidence.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if something was that scary or like really happening, why would you add all those sound effects or whatever, like to, you know?
True. So are we calling them out right here? Is that what we're doing? All this.
I think you're gonna have to have Ghost Hunters and whatever those other shows are on your show. And you're gonna have to battle it out.
Ooh, what a tall task! I don't have any money to pay them. I think they've got a great amount of people watching. So they probably beat us by, you know, a few million in audience.
The world is never going to hear this conversation because, you know, they're going to reach out and try to sue you now.
We can offer them a month of your OnlyFans. Maybe that'll entice them.
You know, I just bought a new box of popsicles. Oh man, yeah. They're the double stick.
Oh yeah. I don't even want to know what that's for.
No, but you. I don't even want to describe it. Okay, we're done. Interview over. This is the best podcast.
It's been a good one. That's it, man. I don't know how we're gonna top that part.
Just you just have booze right now. Boo. like you're opening there, right? No, that's another thing, man. I missed out on the whole shit show, not putting in the sound effects. We should do 2 shit shows next time then.
We got very short time at this point. It seems like a long time. It's usually like 2.5 months in between, right? Yeah. But with what's the timeline on you getting hitched? Isn't it like short? Isn't it within
Yeah, I'm getting married May 15th, so we got less than a month now.
You got 3 weeks, man?
I don't have a tuxedo. I'm still getting a ring, and you know what I mean. Like things are just getting cobbled together. You really have 90 days to have a 90-day fiance. So,
And once they started easing on the restrictions and everything, did it kind of seem like everything started moving super fast?
Yeah, because for one, it was 9 months till they got back to us. I had a letter that said, we're going to get back to you in 30 days. And then we'll give you an appointment for what we needed to finalize the 90-day fiance. Then she was going to get issued the paperwork. And, you know, now we're here present. And it took them 9 months to get back to us. And as soon as they did, they were like, oh yeah, your appointment is scheduled and you have 2 weeks to get, you know, her 8 hours away from where she's at. So I had to figure out the logistics of that, which was that's always fun, trying to plan a last minute freaking trip now. Yeah, it would be like us going to Fresno for a quick medical exam or whatever, and then have to drive back. You know, like it's an undertaking.
Yeah. I mean, that's only 4 hours away, but
Is it only
that'd be,
4 hours away? San Francisco then? I don't
I
know.
think
I've
it's
never
like
been to
6 hours
Fresno.
away. Like maybe, yeah, maybe
Are you
just San Francisco.
in today's traffic though?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We
Yeah,
could kill some time.
right.
I don't want to go to Fresno anyway.
Yeah, traffic sucks. It's probably like the 10th time I've said that on this podcast, but yeah, traffic's terrible.
Yeah,
So,
that's one thing that that and trying to find a damn parking spot that'll make me snap. So if anybody ever wants to see me go crazy,
and you got a
just
bigger vehicle now to park, man.
uh-huh.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Whitey, I've been helping your ass move.
That's true. Yeah, it's nice to have somebody with a truck now.
Uh-huh.
Nice to move stuff. If you guys need anything moved, we're gonna give Fabian's number out at the end of the podcast.
Oh,
He'll come over to your
son
house
of a
and
bitch. Yeah, but we just recently got you grilling, Whitey. So that whole process, right? Um, are you a pit master now?
no, not a pit master yet. I need to start smoking stuff. You're gonna give me that smoker, and then I'll be a pit master.
Did you burn anything yet?
No, everything I cooked came out really good.
Did you overcook any steaks?
No, not one.
All
Had no
right.
flare ups or anything. Like when I've been barbecuing a while too, so I do know some stuff. But smoking and stuff like that, totally not sure what to do there. But I'm sure I'll pick it up quick.
In return for learning the skills, you have to sign over the rights to your likeness, because I am going to create Mighty Whitey's wacky teriyaki sauce.
That's right, and we're gonna give the first bottle here away for free.
We can do that. No, we can definitely do that.
I'm always trying to like start a promotion in your podcast. You notice that? I'm like, we'll give away a Funko Pop. We'll do this. Well,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
the giveaway guy.
trying to give away your damn 3D modeling toys or whatever.
It's like, what can Fabian give away? He will give you the shirt off his back,
Might be a little too big for some, but
or he'll leave the shirt on his back, depending on what you like.
that might be a better option at this point,
Oh
right?
man!
But
Hey, you've been drinking anything lately?
nope.
I've still I hear people talking about well, you were trying those White Claws or whatever that everybody's into right now, the seltzers, right?
That was at your sister's wedding.
Yeah. But no, you had some after that too. I remember you bought something
I bought them
else.
for Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Right. It just the party kept going.
Uh-huh. They're not
But
bad. It's not White Claw. White Claw sucks. Truly.
I think I'd be more of a cider guy, but I don't think we've ever had cider.
I don't know, man. I just hate the taste of alcohol as altogether. So if it has any sort of flavor, I'm for it.
I don't mind it, but yeah, who are we kidding? Everybody drinks to get drunk.
Yeah. Like when people say like, "Oh, this is like you guys were," we were doing a little get together. You guys are like, "Oh, this is a good beer," right? I'm like, "Well, it's beer."
I think what people mean by that is it's a good beer. It means it's not as crappy as the other beers. Like it's still crappy or whatever. But it's still shitty beer.
Uh-huh. No, I'm not a big fan of that. I've always hated beer. It makes you full. I've never gotten that whole acquired taste for it. Makes you piss like crazy.
I like those shots we used to take at the bar or whatever.
Those 50-cent shots, the sojus.
Yeah, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like sake but Korean.
No. I'm talking about like I don't remember what they called. The bartender named them something stupid or something like that. So you had to order it.
Redheaded sluts.
Was it a redheaded slut?
Yeah. With like grenadine in it, so they were red. Yeah.
Is that a real drink? Do we know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't just make that up.
No. I mean, you order it as a cocktail or as a shot. I mean, it's definitely one of the first times I heard about it there, but those are real. Yeah.
Those were good.
Those were real. Yeah.
Those were actually good.
But definitely a favorite of old friend of ours, Matty Ruiz.
Oh yeah. I wonder when we're going to see him again. He's going to pop up at some point.
I'm telling you, I want him on this podcast, man.
He's probably been like, you know how like they have those like horror mysteries where like somebody's like living in somebody's house or whatever, like in a secret room or something like that. What if you just like, you know, heard him cough one day or something like that, and you're like, you peel back like one of your walls or something, there's Matt. And he's like, oh, hey, Fabian.
Would be expected.
It's like, I've been living here. Haven't you noticed your food in the fridge is missing?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, man. He's like the type that just kind of pops up out of nowhere. I remember one time when he started working security with me, you know, he disappeared for a few years after high school, and people thought he was in jail. There was like a rumor circulating that he was in jail, right? And when he wanted to work, you know, nightclubs and stuff with me, I'm like, hey, man, you know, I'd love to have you, but you need a clean record for this gig. He's like, I got a clean record.
I swear Bob told me that Matt was in jail. And then I think I asked Matt about it or something like that. I'm like, is that true or whatever? Like, and I think he was fucking with me too. Like he's like, yeah, it's true.
No, I mean, I legitimately thought he was in jail, and he's like, oh, he told me he had a clean record. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, I heard you went to jail for a few years. But now he cleared, you know, he got his guard card and everything back then. But yeah, man, I don't know what the hell happened to him, because, you know, we used to hang out all the time, you know, we used to do training and everything. And
Saddle Ranch.
Yeah, that too. We spent a lot of time there.
That place doesn't exist anymore, I heard. Yeah.
Well, not the one we used to go to. Not the one at you know, a Universal. That one's done. You know,
what's there now? Is there anything there now?
I don't know. I hope they build something cool, man, because it's a lot of space.
Right.
You know, we definitely had our fun there.
That's funny. Hey, so things are changing here with COVID, man. Like today, we had 420 at work because that's the industry holiday. So anyway, you get to spin a wheel or whatever, and they were like giving out gift cards and stuff or whatever it was, and I spun the wheel, and one of the I got a socially distanced high five was what I won.
Yeah.
I was like, wish I had gotten that TV.
Damn. What a door prize compared to the TV.
Well,
oh, you know, God.
Fucking stoners.
Well, why aren't you a stoner?
No. I'm just a regular guy who happens to stone.
But you don't identify as one.
Not really. I'm just a normal person. Like, I don't know, like, where all that tie-dye bullshit came from or whatever, and the whole, like, we're stupid thing.
So you're talking about like hippies, like.
Not there's people who overdo it. Yeah, like I also think there's people who overdo alcohol as far as like overact when they're drinking and stuff, you know, like
they definitely do. Yeah.
So I'm not, don't know, man.
So okay, that's good. So see, that's one thing I like, because, you know, I'm not been the type to I hate the whole like, oh, this is a lifestyle. You know, get the fuck out of here with that shit, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, you know, they talk about like, you know, this is my lifestyle, you know, like there's so much you could do with the plant, which is true, but, you know, the only thing you really care about is getting high. You know, and the quicker people fucking, you know, just admit to that, you know, the better off they are. Stop trying to pretend like it's something bigger than it is.
I don't like that term, by the way, getting high, you know, like, because it's associated with other drugs too, and it's not the same thing. I feel like it needs its own thing or whatever, like, you know.
Well, what would you call it?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead, but I just, you know, you could be getting high off of heroin or whatever, or getting high off of cocaine, or getting high, you know what I mean? Like, to me, those things are like way freaking worse.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, because I've never even wanted to venture in that direction, but I guess you're right. You know, like,
I mean, I've never tried any of that stuff, but you know, if you look at the statistics and everything, and the research and
like
the amount of deaths and the amount of deaths and toxicology reports and blah blah blah, it all points to those things being worse. So it does have benefits too. I mean, like there's the good and bad to everything, really.
Well, I mean, with marijuana, I think it was a long time coming for it to be legalized. You know, I'm against it and for it still. At the same time, I'm against it because I'm very old school. I think, but then again, the counter argument that hey, beer, alcohol is just as bad. I can't negate that. I can't argue that, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I at that point, it's like I pretty much have no right to be on my high horse. If I've indulged in alcohol, I'm like, I have no right to tell people like, hey, you can't enjoy your buzz.
And to me, even alcohol is worse because you lose control on alcohol. You black out on alcohol. How many nights have you had where you like are trying to piece together what the fuck happened?
I don't know. You'd know better than me, Whitey.
We've both been there. So, I mean,
yeah.
I don't have that with marijuana, man. Like I can, in a couple hours or whatever, like I'm back to exactly where I was.
You don't think there's people that do have that though, or no?
What do you mean?
Like where they just kind of, maybe lose their minds for a bit. I mean, I'm stupid in this subject.
Here's the thing. Everybody's different. Okay. They react to things different. You could be allergic to something I'm not allergic to. So I don't know. I just know what I experience. So honestly, I can just talk from my point of view.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, I don't have the I'm not in somebody else's brain,
right,
making their decisions and like feeling what they feel and stuff. So I couldn't tell you if there's, I'm sure there is somebody who's going to, try it and go nuts or something like that, but what is the percentage of person that's going to happen to? And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
I hate to make you the resident expert on this, Whitey, but because you're just the guy who enjoys it, right? You're not like you said, you don't consider yourself like a pothead or any sort of enthusiast, right?
No, I just like it. I enjoy it. It is something I enjoy. It mellows me out. It relaxes me.
Yeah, like you do it at home just to mellow you out, right?
Yeah, and and what I mean by mellow you out, like when we're on a trip or something like that, I'm always worried about stuff. Like, don't I worry more about shit? Like you've even said you're like, why you're doing that thing where you worry too much,
Yeah, well, I'll give you, an example. Anytime we go to Vegas, right? And I don't know if it's just an abundance of caution, but you're always looking over my shoulder, like, hey, how much gas do we have left? How fast are we going? Like, I'm like, Whitey, relax. We're good. We've done this already millions of times, right? But yeah, you tend to do that sometimes.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I get anxious, I don't know, like anxious. Everybody gets anxious though. Like it's weird saying you have anxiety because I feel like if you don't have anxiety, you're weird. Like I feel like it's impossible not to have anxiety.
Right.
But with that said, like I think that I just, I focus on things a little too much sometimes, and like I could be doing other stuff, and this helps me focus on what I need to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, so I hate to make you the resident expert on this, but since you're a little more familiar with the subject than I am, I just kind of wanted to maybe poke at it a little bit, so that's what the podcast is for, right?
Right.
And one of the things that I've wondered is that they used to call this like the gateway drug, right? Obviously, you've never had any sort of like tendency to want to try anything new because you tried smoking pot, right? Or am I wrong there?
Right. What did I hear somebody say? They said, well, that means that water is a gateway beverage.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think it. What was the question? Is it a gateway? Did
it lead to you wanting to try anything else?
Not really. I mean, like this is pretty much it. I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't try anything else, but for the most part, that's not what influenced me or whatever. Like to try anything else, like I. it was like I had tried some other stuff before, and that wasn't any good. And then I tried this, and I'm like, oh. And then I started looking into it, the adverse effects or whatever, and it was like, hey, wait a second, this isn't really all that bad,
Mm.
like as bad as they're saying it. Because when we were kids, like you go to jail for having it,
Yeah.
and now like everybody's fucking smoking weed, like a ridiculous amount of people are smoking weed right now. People you don't even know are smoking weed are still smoking weed behind your back.
I'll say this, people think their teachers and principals and admin and everything are all goody two shoes. I've partied
No
with
way.
enough of them to know that they're probably some of the worst.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, there's a lot
and
of people. The funny part is when I had my my recommendation from the doctor or whatever, like when I first got it, going into those dispensaries or whatever, like I wasn't in there with a bunch of fucking tie-dye hippies, like
Mhm.
there's stereotyping going on in that community right there, because the people I was getting, quote end quote medicine with were like little old ladies, like your grandma was in there like buying weed, man. It's a lot of people you don't expect.
Yeah. Because in growing up in Almani, to me, it was always like the troublemakers, like, okay, the cholos down the street, next door, they're the ones smoking weed,
Right.
not us good, decent people at home. We're at home and maybe dad's drinking a little too much, but, but at least he's not smoking weed,
Right.
But, it was kind of like they're the same thing, and like you said, maybe to some extent, the alcohol, was worse.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the same thing. If we're talking, fruits and vegetables, that's just,
Mhm.
they're in the same category.
Now, my experience with any sort of like prescription drug, I remember I was really hurting when I messed up my back and my shoulder, and they wanted to give me a shitload of Vicodin and what do you call it, like muscle relaxers and shit like that. Um, that stuff's a little scary, man, because I needed more than one, so I wasn't gonna feel it with my size. So I remember taking maybe one or two too many, and that shit's no good, man.
Yeah.
That just kind of leaves you like a zombie.
Right.
So I mean, there's people that abuse that, and you listen to like some of these old pro wrestlers, and they talk about taking somas. They take like fucking 100 a day or something like that. It's like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah, I've heard that about Vicodin, man. Like it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob. Jay, I think he was
Mm-hmm.
talking about like he'd pop like just a handful or whatever. Like in the amount he was talking, I was like, can you take that many pills in a day? Is that possible?
Mm.
But I guess it is. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
fistfulling, pills into my mouth.
Uh-huh. And and if you do enough of those that slow you down, and then you something you do something as simple as like drink coffee and shit, and it builds your heart rate back up, that shit'll kill you.
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful with those things. But I notice, these days there's a lot more talk where they want to experiment with like mushrooms and stuff like that, right? And so when you talk about gateway, like it kind of in the medical field, to me, it seems like, exploring marijuana a little bit more kind of was sort of a gateway to exploring other, I guess illegal or previously illegal or criminalized drugs, right? And, to me, it sounds crazy right now, but I haven't had anybody put it into any sort of context. But maybe, I look at it two ways. Maybe it's just fucking nuts, or maybe it's kind of one of these things where I looked at it like I looked at how I looked at weed, where I thought it was crazy, but really the benefits, outweighed the negative. So what's your thoughts on that? I know, again, you're not hippie pot guy, Whitey. You're just a regular guy that enjoys toking and smoking.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on something like that, where people in medicine want to start to experiment with with mushrooms and stuff?
Man, I'm I don't know about that one. That one's a tough call. But if the medical field is going to microdose people, whereas like it's a controlled small microdose, you may not even feel any effects at all, like at all.
Wow.
With the dose they're going to give you. So I don't know. Maybe it's okay. I mean, they're the experts. That's not my. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist, so I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. But I mean, I guess I'm not against it. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's going to open some crazy doors to some medical advances that could benefit the whole world.
Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask, have you tried it? You can wink in the camera once or twice, whatever. But
I've never tried mushrooms at all, ever. I did try oh my god, salvia. And that was an experience and a half.
See, so again, I'm kind of drug stupid. Explain that one for me.
Okay, so salvia was the stuff. I don't even know if they still like carry it, but back when we were like 24 or 5 or something like that. Like they came out. It was right before bath salts, I think. Yeesh. Happened, and everybody was like, "Oh fuck, like this isn't good." What they were doing was they were selling this stuff in the smoke shops, and it was sold as incense, and it was this plant called salvia. I don't want to tell you how to smoke it or whatever, like because I don't want to be an advocate to anything. Like if somebody's like on here trying to learn, you're not going to learn from me. But
I'm sure they can go on Google. Yeah.
What happened was I tried the salvia, and the first time was kind of okay. What happened was I'm looking straight ahead, but now I'm like you lose complete control of everything. What I'm seeing in my head as soon as I took it, because the reason I tried it was because I'm like, oh, it's a psychedelic or whatever, like it could be a quick trip, and it's only going to last 30 seconds. Like no more than 30 seconds, like we're not going to spend 8 hours like on acid or something like that, trying to get freaked out or whatever.
Yeah.
And especially you're on a bad trip or something. I don't want a nightmare for 8 hours. Who does? Right. So anyway, it was supposed to be real quick. So I'm looking straight ahead and I see like, like one of those dizzy tests or whatever, or not a dizzy test, but it's like a wheel, like a hypnotist wheel or whatever that spins or whatever, and it's the black and white or whatever. Like, I see that and it's spinning around, but what I see is it was blue and yellow.
Huh.
Like those old socks they used to make or whatever that went up to your knees or whatever. Like they had these little stripes on them, like blue and yellow. Anyway, I see that swirling around and like I'm moving forward, like I'm going through like you ever been to like the carnival or something? You go in the fun house and they got this like it's like a suspended bridge. So it's got 2 rails, but they've got the whole room spinning around you. It's like a tube that's spinning and they put like stars or whatever on you. And you can't like, so I'm moving forward and it looks like that's happening, but it's all that like blue and yellow swirl. And like, as this thing's turning, cause it's turning kind of slow, like my whole body is turning. So wherever I was sitting down on the floor, because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna fucking eat shit, if I fall or something like that. I'm just sitting down, my back's against the couch. I'm like physically like turning with the thing. And then when I got on my side, because I eventually made it to where I couldn't turn anymore, that's when my trip stopped. And I was like, oh, well, okay, that's interesting. And so I had tried it like 2 more times after that. And the second time like was just okay. I was listening to some music. The music sounded like kind of trippy. That was pretty much the extent of that. Well, the third time was the one where I stopped completely. Because I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like this isn't fun, I was sitting on the couch and I take a hit of the salvia. And as soon as it kicked in or whatever, like I'm looking at it was a wall, but it didn't have anything on it. So just like the wall behind me over here, it's just like a blank canvas, right? I'm looking at the wall and I see the imprint of like it was a guy, and he was standing up, and there was another guy that was like upside down, like hanging from his feet by like, I guess the ceiling, but it was like the movie The Carpenters, like not the Carpenters, not the band The Carpenters. Wow.
Yeah.
The Frighteners, like I
Oh,
always
shit,
remember
yeah.
like where they stick it's like a piece of latex and they put like the head through it looks like it's coming through the wall. It
Yeah.
was like that, but I have like, there was a guy standing on one side and there was another dude hanging this way. And the one guy had the one on the floor had his hands around the guy's neck and he was choking him or whatever. Like, and I'm looking and it looks really fucking, vibrant or whatever. Like I can see the whole scene or whatever, like right in front of me. And I'm like, that's not a good sign. Like, that's not what I'm like here to do, like I wasn't here to see people choking each other or whatever. I'm like, what is that? That's not good, So that was the last time I tried salvia. Not good. I think I'm good on anything else at this point,
Yeah, but I mean,
everything.
But like mushrooms are supposed to have like the same kind of effect, right?
I don't know. I think you're supposed to like experience colors and stuff more, but from what I hear, it's like it's a long trip.
Oh, okay. So the length of time is what's different. Because I mean,
plus you're eating shit. I mean, you're literally eating shit mushrooms.
Yeah, that's
not cool.
That doesn't sound enticing. I mean, for people that love their fucking chitlins and menudo, maybe that's okay for them.
See, but now like Oregon, who just legalized everything or whatever they decriminalized or whatever, now you can do mushrooms over there, I guess, and they're putting them in capsules. I think like a pill capsule, so you don't even like. It's not the same way you're going to be doing it now. You're not going to get like a baggie full of shit mushrooms or whatever and have to fucking choke them down.
So you don't eat them; you take them like a pill.
Exactly. It would be like crushed up into pill form, I guess.
See, but I mean, that's what's kind of like where I don't think we should go as a nation, where it's just like the Wild West. They let everything, and anything go, like Oregon, right? I mean, I don't think that's the right way to live, like just to say like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. We'll even give you the fucking needles, right?
Well, it's like the line in what do you call it? Portlandia. Fern Armisen says, he goes, it's Portland. He goes, it's where young people go to retire. You can work in a coffee shop or whatever and make it. You can pay the rent from the coffee shop. I don't know. There's just a bunch of young people over there, and like it's an experiment. It really is. It's a social experiment. See how well they're going to cope with something new like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not for like, hey, let's make everything prohibition again, because how great that shit work,
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, I think we should have some sort of standard, Yeah, like I mentioned, there's I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not a fucking expert on this. I don't know if it was us in LA County doing it, but in California, yeah, they were providing fucking needles for addicts, right? Like,
I've heard about that's worked in I think it's Sweden or Norway. It's somewhere over there on the other coast.
But to me, that's stupid. Like, why would you provide it for them? It's just saying like, yeah, come do your drugs over here. You'll be fine. Like it's promoting it.
They're saying over there in those countries that it worked out, though. This is what I heard, because of the way that they villainize people who do like heroin and stuff right now. And they provide like a facility for them to go, and these people go, they do their heroin in the morning, they go to their job, they get paid or whatever, a wage, because before they wouldn't have jobs or whatever because nobody wants to hire a heroin addict. And they can make their money and they come back. And from what they're saying is most of those people that were on that program or whatever end up off the program. And, because of, heroin or whatever ruined their life or whatever, they're able to, get back on their feet and still, not have to suffer like that.
Yeah, man, but I still wouldn't want somebody fucking on heroin at the job, like I don't want you showing up high to work.
Right. And that's the other thing. Like, I don't know how that works, man. I
I
just
get
know,
it.
I
Maybe
just
they
know
have
that
people
they've,
test. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know how that works. I'm not into any of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for people that gets caught up in that.
Hmm. And I'm not. It's a fine line because I've been definitely somebody who's been super insensitive about it because like you always whenever I tell people like what I think about it, they're always like, oh, but you have to think it's an addiction, like and to me it's like, boo fucking who put yourself in that position? I didn't do it to you. you know
Right.
like get your ass off of it. I get it, they say it's not that easy, blah blah blah, but it's like, we can I mean, we can do everything we can to help them. Fucking, I think we do as a nation. There's fucking, I mean, it costs money. That's the one thing that definitely isn't helpful. But
But we pay
provide,
for so much other shit though. Like
yeah,
that's not needed.
that's true.
What's another thing? I don't know.
But to the point that we'll provide them with their fucking habit, with their needles and shit.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
I'm not for
yeah.
that.
Right.
If you're gonna stop it, stop it, but don't fucking perpetuate it and give them the okay.
I think the whole point originally was to stop the spread of HIV and things like that. And what are they saying that like 1 in 4 or 5 people right now have an STD? Like
I don't
the
know,
numbers
man.
have, yeah, the numbers have significantly risen over the past 10 years. I think they were saying.
Hmm.
Um, Again, I don't
Oh,
have facts in front of me, but if that's the case, then it's like somebody's always going to come up with a shitty solution
yeah,
for a shitty problem.
I think HIV is on the rise. I have Sling, right, and I watch whenever I do watch TV or anything. Um, the commercials, they're minimal commercials now, right? But every single fucking commercial is for HIV medicine. Like every commercial. I just noticed it the other day. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, and like,
Here's a note to your podcast listeners. So that TV is probably based off like it's got an algorithm, right? That's tracking all your searches and everything. So whatever you search for during the day is related to HIV.
mm, I don't know. I think
Been
it's just
watching a
like
lot of HIV videos on YouTube, buddy.
I mean, there was a scare. No, I'm just kidding. It was supposed to be that color. No, uh, no, but like every single commercial, yeah, is like HIV. Like on anything that is like for our age, for like our demographic, right? And that's, yeah, I can see your the stats that you were kind of going over, really correlating with that. So that's kind of a fucked up thing to think about, man. But at the same time, too, it's like it's also saying like, hey, don't worry about it. You'll live a full life. Like look at these guys. They're getting awards for whatever reason. They're not just some jerk ass with HIV. They're living normal jobs. They're still out there boning.
The cynical me would say, well, it just looks like they're just giving them needles so they can kill themselves so they don't kill us.
Yeesh. Maybe that's it. That's a dark one.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think that again, no, we shouldn't be living in the whole point of this, was saying that we shouldn't be living in this whole wild west. I get, yeah, hopefully it'll help with reducing, things like HIV, but I mean I don't think that whatever worked over in Europe would work here in the US because I don't know, man. We're built different over here. That's like saying, like, okay, so you're addicted to overeating. Let me let you into every free buffet I can, right? And you're gonna stop overeating. Like, it's not gonna work that
Yeah.
way, you
Not
know?
only that, but those are small populations as well.
Uh huh. Yeah.
We got a
And
lot more to worry about over here, for sure.
it's a different mindset over here, and we just, again, we're built differently. We're different people, you know. I don't know, man. I think we should. Uh huh.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know why it came to me right now, but World of Wally, when he was
Yeah.
talking to you, he goes, he asked you about somebody, and he's like, he's from LA or whatever. Do you know him or whatever? Like that's how people in a small town talk or whatever, like, because they do know each other. Like,
Uh-huh.
and we're just so used to being around everybody that we don't think like that, like.
Uh-huh. No, I've gotten asked that a few times before, man. Like people just assume that, oh yeah, you're from LA. Do you know so and so? Like, sure, probably 12 people with the same name out here,
Yeah. Well, there's still towns with only a few thousand population,
Yeah. No, I moving away from the whole drug talk, Whitey. What's what's something else you wanted to throw out there for the podcast world? Are we gonna have a bachelor party? I'm sure people want to hear about that.
I don't think so. I mean, what can we do? There's nothing. What? It's like we could have a barbecue. I think later on down the line we're gonna do another, ceremony, so we can worry about it then.
We've only got
make up for it.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I'm not expecting much. We're keeping it super small. There's only gonna be, I think, less than 10 people there, including my mom, dad, and grandparents. There's nobody's coming. I mean,
what the hell happened? Why do we used to be young? We used to be party animals.
Yeah, we got old.
We're boring.
We're not even that old. Yeah, we're just boring.
Oh, like instead of like getting all shit faced and doing stupid shit when we were supposed to record the shit show last time,
we
were trying to get Sosa's kid in a wrestling stance.
We partied pretty hard, like even before we were 21. I was going to bars before I was 21. So
because I was working at them.
Yeah, good times. I didn't want to incriminate you, but yeah,
I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. I was. They shouldn't have had me working the doors anyway.
Right. That's hilarious. Yeah, but I mean, we partied hard for years. I mean, shit, and you were burning the candle at both ends even back then.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah, he'd go to work during the day, then he'd go at night, then he'd go to this bar or whatever. Like, he was working every night. I don't think you had a night off.
No, I didn't. I think I told it on the podcast one time. I think it was like 560 something days straight without a day off, including holidays.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Well, you did have an attendance record in school too, right?
Yeah, I never missed a day, like ever. Second grade was the last time because that's when I started walking to school. So
that's funny you do dedicate yourself to stuff.
So I was never late, and I was never absent after the second grade because that's when I started walking myself to school.
You wouldn't even drink sodas till you were 18.
Beyond that, yeah, I was disciplined there. And I don't remember why. I think it was something stupid. It was like somebody dared me for like a week. Like, oh yeah, you can't go out without drinking soda for a week. I could go the whole fucking year, right? 1 year turned into like 12 years.
Man, that's crazy.
I'd
always have to find some weird fucking drink for you at parties, though. It's like we'd all be drinking Tiki Punch and Sprite or something like that, and you would have to have like, I don't know, apple juice or something.
Something non-carbonated.
Yeah,
dude, but it worked, man. Because back then I didn't have as much bloat going on, and now I feel like you drink a soda or something, it just bloats you right up.
Right. Well, bodies change, man.
Maybe I need to get back on that.
You get some of those men hormone pills or whatever. What are they called? Andre would know.
Hey, while they're experimenting with certain mushrooms and shit, man, might as well start trying to fucking pump humans full of steroids long term and see what happens, don't fucking, dilute it with other bullshit. Like, give us the good stuff, right? See what it does for humanity, because I bet you can make a superhuman by pumping them full of roids.
You would just create the Incredible Hulk.
I'll volunteer. Hey, hey,
Fabian Smash.
I'm like, I'm feeling like shit. I probably need that testosterone replacement therapy soon or something, you know? Uh, so I will be the first one, and I would love to take that step and be pumped full of steroids legally by doctors who know what they're doing. Because I'm not gonna get my ass randomly shot up by some fucking stranger.
Yeah, that's happening too often these days.
Uh-huh. No, that's if you listen back to episode 1, that's Andre was saying that he got himself injected by someone he didn't even know. I'm like, so this dude's right there at your ass, just fucking ready to inject you, and you don't even know who the fuck he is.
He wasn't even a doctor or a nurse.
But that's kind of weird, man. But yeah, no, I would volunteer
He didn't work for the hospital.
No, they just did it in the. I don't know if it was at somebody's house or in the garage or something, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, but I'll volunteer for the doctors to put me in the Incredible Hulk treatment. I'll take a hit for the team.
We're actually going to be raffling off. I'm always trying to do the giveaway. We're going to be raffling off the chance to paint Fabian green.
Yeah, I'll take it because if you recall, there was a certain other paint that I used that we can't talk about anymore.
Oh my God, you were the original.
We can't. We can no longer do that because we will get canceled.
Cancel culture is the best. I love those kids.
I know you know what I'm talking about, Whitey.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Big Wayne.
Yeah. That's the thing though. Like, I get okay. I don't want to get canceled here. But if you look at well, let's take it to what's happening in popular TV now. Like, remember, WWE, right? They had a segment one time where the guys from DX all dressed up like the Nation of Domination. They put on blackface and everything, right? And it was on TV, right? But now that they've migrated the WWE network from their own network to Peacock, which is run by NBC, they've edited those parts out, right?
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
How can you erase the history is like my argument, I mean,
right, it happened.
Yeah, it's like you just want to, you're putting blinders over history now. I don't know, but it bugs me.
Here's the part that bothers me though, is that it's all entertainment, right? And so they weren't the guys, that were doing the DX guys that were dressed up as nation guys weren't doing it to be racist, right? They were doing it to be entertaining, because if you look at a movie or a TV show, right, which Peacock has plenty of,
right,
how many times can they get away with, calling someone the N-word maliciously, right? And that's all entertainment as well. I don't understand why something like pro wrestling they hold in higher regard and act like they're real people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I said, yeah, there's plenty of movies out there. I mean, how many Quentin Tarantino movies out there have, the N-word over and over and over and over again, right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Are you going to cancel all of them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's malicious a lot of the time. It's like, they're saying it with hate,
right?
But something like pro wrestling where they did it kind of tongue in cheek, right? Then all of a sudden they're like real people. You have to treat it like real people. It's like, come on now. It's basically a soap opera for men,
I just think if you don't have stuff there, then we haven't learned anything. We need to learn from the bad moments or whatever. And if you erase all the bad moments, then what is there to learn from?
Mm-hmm. I agree, but I mean, like I said, it's just it's like writing a TV show, basically, Another example, I think they had a segment where Vince McMahon was telling Trish Stratus to undress, right? He was really like harassing her, like, he was humiliating her on TV because she fucked up. And
Right.
so he made her strip down. Like, he's like, take off your shirt. And she's like all shy and everything. And he goes, take it off. And he's like, take off your skirt. Right. And so she's doing it and crying and everything. And, he's telling her to bark like a dog and all this shit, all this degrading shit. Right. But that was part of a TV show. That was part of a script.
Right.
Right. And so they've edited that part out now too. Right. I'm like, how are they gonna come on? Like, those are all part of a pro wrestling script. How many movies do you see where there's actual fucking rape scenes, right?
Yeah.
And Trish wasn't even like fully naked. You couldn't see anything. So like, how are they gonna edit that out and not edit something like rape scenes or full frontal nudity and stuff like that? I'm like, this is such a weird kind of thing. I say this just as a pro wrestling fan, just because I'm like, that's just so bizarre how, pro wrestling is seen as more than a scripted show, but less than reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not down with the whole cancel everything, man. It's pretty bad. I mean, what's next? Music? We're gonna get rid of music,
I think so.
Like if you held those same rules that you do to TV to music or whatever, like 90% of the stuff that people are listening to right now that I hear people listening to is gone. It's gone.
How about that wet ass P word?
Oh my God. I don't know what I heard it the other day. I was like, what the fuck is it? Dude, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, is this really what the kids are listening to today? Because this is fucked up. Like, something's wrong.
Dude,
we have to blame our generation too.
Yeah.
Because like, you fucked up your kids, guys.
Well, I mean, we grew up on Back That Ass Up and the thong song and shit,
But you've heard the song, man. Like,
it's fucking, grotesque.
That shit's G-rated compared to this other stuff, and it's not attractive either. Like, it makes those ladies sound fucking like disgusting, man.
Yeah, like they you automatically know they stink.
Yeah. Oh man, Jesus Christ.
What was I gonna say? But I mean, then they'll go and cancel something like, "Baby, It's Cold Outside." Right?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. So all of and this idiot John Legend, he made his own "Baby It's Cold Outside" song, and they replaced one of the lines with like he's trying to convince the girl to stay, right?
Yeah.
They changed one of those lines to like, "Oh, I called your Uber and it's outside," like, what the fuck? Like, hold on a minute. Wait a minute, Mr. fucking, don't pressure women. John Legend, don't you have a song where you're basically begging the girl to stay? It's literally called Stay. Yeah. It's like a bunch of hypocrisy there, man.
Yeah, I can't believe they found the error in that song.
I couldn't believe it. I never thought it. I mean, I didn't like the song. I thought it was, it's kind of corny, right? But I never thought it was horny. I thought it was corny.
Yeah.
But even if it was, dude, it's like, what? So like, men can't even ask women to like, hey, are you feeling it? Like, you can't even ask anymore. You just have to kind of assume.
No, that is not true. I just watched a sexual harassment video. You're allowed to ask once, and if they say no, no means no. That's litigations true. And whatnot.
That's true. They trained you well, right, Whitey? I have to make sure that staff watch that video every year.
Yeah. Stupid video.
Or at least every.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not a stupid. Man, people are fucking stupid. Let's talk about that for a minute.
I agree.
Oh man, I've been, told weird shit because people do weird shit a lot, and it's like, if a woman's standing there and she's like got a big butt,
okay,
You could take a quick glance, but don't fucking sit there or whatever, like with your head cocked to the side or whatever for a good, 30 seconds or whatever, and being like, damn, or whatever. Or like fucking catcalling women or something like that, like
Right.
I don't understand how people do this. And I've seen this in the workplace, man. Like,
Yeah.
and it's been an issue with some people, I guess. Which again is why I have to watch these videos.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just takes common sense, like you just don't do that.
Jeez, it's like, dude, yeah, you're at a job. These people are paying you to do something or whatever. You're doing something that's gonna get you fired, maybe even fucking sued.
Whitey, I'm gonna ask you an important question.
What's up?
Did somebody try to pinch your backside?
I was wearing these bright red pants. It was my fault entirely because I should have known how slutty I looked.
Mm-hmm. Did you show leg?
I shouldn't have worn a bikini to work.
Did you show a little ankle?
Anklet. Yeah.
You can't be doing that. They're gonna be like, damn, Whitey thick.
Oh man.
They're gonna be disappointed. They're gonna be like those ladies beside Arby's, try to return their fucking Jamocha shake while they're slurping on it.
That was crazy. That was
this shit ain't it.
Two ladies coming in there fucking screaming behind the counter at Arby's.
Wow. I think that's the last time we ever went to Arby's.
Yeah. I think it really was the last time we went to Arby's. It's like, oh God. She's like ready to fucking pull that lady out from behind the counter. She's like, I want my shake. This ain't thick or whatever. Like, this is not what I paid for. I'm like, oh my God, this lady's getting fucking violent in here. Like,
and she said, and I'm keeping the drink and I want my money back.
Yeah, and she's drinking it the whole fucking time. Like, she'll probably take half that shake the whole time she's yelling at the lady. So then to give her money back. It's like, dude, how does this work?
Was it like 15 years later? I'm still quoting that bitch. This shit ain't thick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I still reference that every single day.
What is wrong with people, really? Like, man.
Maybe you know what? Maybe we've been looking at this all wrong. Maybe we should drug these people.
Yeah. Steroids and free heroin needles for all.
They might be a little bit more pleasant overall. So we might be looking at this whole thing all wrong. So I think it came full circle, came to fruition here. We solved all the world's problems with drugs.
Man, and it all started at Arby's, guys.
Fucking Jamocha shakes, man.
Hey man, do they have any Arby's still? I mean,
there's one in Alhambra.
Oh, that's not too far from me.
No, let's go to. We don't live too far from each other. Why let's go to Arby's?
Let's go to Arby's, man. We're gonna end this podcast at Arby's.
Actually, I remember we went to an Arby's once before at a drive-through, and the guy was confused because he didn't know what cheese sauce was.
How do you work at an Arby's and not know what cheese sauce is?
Because you wanted extra cheese sauce on the side, right?
That's like working at C's Candies and not knowing what a chocolate is.
So we're like, can we have some cheese sauce on the side? Cheese sauce? They're consulting the manager and shit. They want cheese sauce on the side.
They have two items on the menu that have always had cheese sauce on. The Arby's melt, and then they got the what is it? The classic Arby's cheddar and beef and cheddar.
Dude, those are I don't care what anybody says. Those are good, man.
The only difference between those two sandwiches is a fucking onion bun.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, both come loaded with cheese sauce. So they definitely have cheese sauce back there.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody says. Those microwavable sandwiches are good.
They really are.
Yeah. I'll eat them any day.
Hey, they use a good microwave.
All right.
Hey, real quick, I think I saw Chuck E. Cheese make their pizza once in a video. I think it's made out of like a conveyor belt. Like they put like somebody loads a fucking thing on a pizza fucking shell or whatever on a conveyor belt, like pre-made thing. Mm-hmm. And then that goes through this other thing, and I think it spits sauce on it, and then it goes through another section. So, and then it goes through the oven, and then it comes out, and the worker like packs up the pizza real quick. But it's all automated, like automated pizzas. That's where we're going today, guys. automated pizzas. We should end on that note.
Anything else you want to throw out there to the podcast world, Whitey?
No, just happy to be on again. Happy to have my house. Happy to have my wife. Things are good right now, and I'm really glad that things are slowly getting back together. Everything's looking a lot better than it did. I don't know, let's say 3 months ago. So everybody's getting vaccinated. I mean, we're going to be getting our vaccinations pretty soon here. I don't know if you got vaccinated, but
I'm fully vaccinated.
That's right. You are fully vaccinated because of school.
Wow.
Beautiful. Well, yeah. So I mean, we're.
You can still get sick.
Well, whatever, man. I mean, I'm not gonna get sick. I haven't been doing anything like with many people still. I mean, like I'm playing it safe.
Yeah.
You don't gotta worry. I think we got it before, the January before they announced what was going on. I'm pretty sure we got it. I think I've already said that. But.
Your family gave it to me.
No, my family gave it to my family. Andre gave it to you, and he gave it to everybody else. And he almost
the
killed
second time.
He almost killed your uncle.
The first time,
that on the next podcast.
The first time I got it from y'all.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
You did, dude. You really did. Yeah.
I picked up a guitar from you.
That's right. We did have contact spreading.
Yeah, I think
like touch. Yeah.
And then, shortly after that, I couldn't breathe walking to my car from work. So I am going to blame you.
I killed you.
You almost did.
Almost killed you. Yeah. Huh.
But you know what? That makes me stronger. It makes me better.
Well, you've almost killed me before, so we're good. There's at least 2 occasions I can think of right off bat where I could have died by your hands.
That's true. Suplex, were you thinking that one first?
The suplex and the car ride or whatever. Like
the car ride?
Where we spun over 5 lanes or whatever. Like
you were in that car with us?
How do you not know I was? Yeah, we were going to Club 2020.
Oh, that's right. Because I remember Matt was in there.
You told me my last words were, "Oh no."
That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. You really don't know what you're gonna say when you die if you have a split second. So Fabian knows exactly what I'm gonna say. We just that was amazing. Yeah. So we were in the freeway. We were on the freeway going to work. We were gonna do club work in Santa Monica, and we're in the far left lane. And it's like Fabian's only going I don't know, 45 miles per hour. Okay. And it's it's raining kind of hard. And I'm I feel like we're going fast. I think I told Fabian, I go, you think we should slow down? He goes, Whitey, he goes, I got this. And what do they say? Famous last words, right? Right after that, Fabian starts to lose control of the car. The steering wheel starts shaking violently. I remember because it when you're in a situation like that, things start to go real slow.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, the steering wheel starts shaking violently and the car starts to move left and right. And I'm oh, fuck. And I guess that's probably when I said, oh, no. And then we start spinning across every single lane in the rain. Mm-hmm. And this is on a busy freeway. We didn't hit anything. We ended up facing the wrong direction on the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
So we see headlights and we're oh, fuck. So we're turn the car around, Fabian. He's so we did. And we got off the freeway. And when we got to work, we were all laughing and shit because we were all in a state of shock, So I think that night nobody showed up at the bar because it was raining so hard.
Yeah.
And we were taking bets, how many people would actually show up. And I think 2 or 3 won it or something like that. There wasn't anybody at the bar that night because it was the conditions were so bad.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was convinced we were dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, we really fucking almost died there. So. Yeah. And then we still had to work a shift, so.
Fuck it, man. That's if we're living in an alternate universe right now, I wouldn't know it.
Yeah, we're a simulation.
I'm probably all dead right now and buried.
Fabian, take off the goggles. Put your hands on the goggles. I'm telling you, it's gonna be okay.
Well, that'll do it, Whitey. We bantered long enough. We got to get the shit show back together very, very soon. You know,
Sounds good.
if we do kidnap your ass for a last minute bachelor party of some sort, we're gonna put that shit on video for people to see, and especially since you're not on the Instagram or anything, you're gonna be none the wiser. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
funny. Yeah, I'm a sensation in India.
Uh-huh. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's the Whitey.
I'm gonna get the.
He's getting his arranged marriage."
They're gonna invite me down for the star treatment. Oh yeah.
One day. But that'll do it for this one. For everybody listening at home, appreciate it. Thank you. Fuck you and good night. Subscribe to the Ignorance is Strength podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Like, follow, and share on Facebook and Instagram at Ignorance is Strength Podcast and on Twitter at The Ignorance Pod.